Hi, it's Gary from Fireblade Software here. I'm going to play through about 30 minutes of Abandoned Ship so you can see some of the gameplay. I'll talk about things as they come up, but we have released trailers that go into more detail on combat and exploration, so if you haven't seen those, please check them out. Now, this is quite early in the game, and when I played previously I'd reached a port that is now under attack by the Cult of Halifron, which are the main baddies in the game. I won't read all of the messages, I'll just give the general gist of them. Basically, we need to flee the port before the cult arrive, but we're going to have to fight our way past the blockade first. This is quite a low level ship, so I'm anticipating this will be an easy victory. The crew are class based, so I'm just distributing them around the ship to make sure the right people are assigned to the right jobs. I've also set the ship to move away from the enemy because I've got some weapons that increase their damage the further away we are. The enemy is just as fast as we are, so I can help myself by damaging their mast section, which will slow them down. I'll use this chain shot weapon here that can only target the sails but does a lot of damage to them, so hopefully I can knock the mast section into the yellow or red. Right, these things swimming across are the Halifron. Think of them as Cthulhu-esque squidmen. These are the creatures the cult worship. They're normally quite tough to fight, but we'd already damaged them in battle, so we took care of them quite easily. In fact, we were still able to keep firing at the enemy while the Halifron distracted us, so we've nearly won. Yeah, there you go. Easy victory. Although we didn't get any money for it because we're trying to get out of the port quickly. This icon over the port shows that it's under cult control, so we can't enter it. Later in the game you do get quests to liberate ports from the cult, but right now we're trying to escape. We can do that by completing events. Now, when I originally entered this map I'd explored looking for the port we've just left, so I remember where some are and I'll sail over to them now. Okay, so this event looks like it's one where Halifron have swum up to us while we're sailing around, so we're going to have to repel boarders. Halifron! They're quite good in hand-to-hand combat, so unless my crew have higher melee skills, I'll need to gang up on them to avoid any casualties. And I just need to move my crew away quickly because those red Halifron explode when they die, which is what that pool of acid is. That would have been quite nasty for my crew on red health. You may have noticed this border around the edges. Our art style is based on classic naval oil painting, so we'd like this idea that each exploration map is within a picture frame, and we tie this in with the fog of war, which looks like a blank canvas. So as you sail around it's kind of like you're painting in the world as you go. If I click this button here, I can see this handy pulled out view of the entire exploration map. These sea routes are what we need to travel through to move between exploration maps. First we'll need to unlock the gate by completing a set number of events. I noticed there were a couple more when I looked at the pulled out view, so we'll go do those now. This event is warning that a powerful ship is bearing down on us. We could flee, but we're in a pretty good position, so we'll take it on. Yeah, that's a lot tougher than the last ship we faced. They want to keep their distance, which will play into our favour. Okay, that's why they've got the same weapons as we do. I'll just use my sailor to repair that hull crack. Okay, here come those Halifron. There's 3 of them, so we'll move our crew to intercept them as they board. Whoa, they've hit us with a weapon that has knocked someone overboard. Okay, we're in trouble. Lots and lots of trouble. I just need to take care of this last Halifron, stabilise him, and move out of the acid. Ah, and I forgot my gunner. Really need to heal him, and I'll do the captain in a second. Okay, let's juggle these 2 and heal the captain. So it looks like the enemy has a ship smasher mortar which causes a brace for impact test. If I don't press this button in time, then it will knock my crew to the deck or even overboard, which is what happened to the navigator earlier. Because no one made it to the winch to save him, he drowned. I think right now, given how few crew we have left, the best thing is to just concentrate on taking them out before they can sink us. I might as well ignore repairing those sections in the red because right at this moment, they don't matter. I did at least manage to stabilise this dude, so he will come back if we survive. That bell is warning me that my hull health is critical. Ah, you can fire the mortar. And that bell is warning me that my water level is very high, so I need to fix hull cracks to stop the water coming in and use the pumps to lower the water gauge, otherwise that will sink the ship as well. Brace for impact! Okay. As long as I stay on top of any new hull cracks, I can probably leave the water pumps because I need to keep pounding the enemy. They outgun me, so I think it's going to be a case of who gets off the next shot first. This should be the final shot. And they fired 2. Oh, that was close. Very close. Okay, that was pretty much a disaster, but despite losing 2 crew and being on the cusp of sinking, we have survived, and now we get back our unconscious sailor. So the other event was down here, I think. Now, because the port in this map has been taken over, I can't go and repair my ship there, so I really hope this event isn't a combat one. And it's a combat one. Okay, 2 cult ships have trapped us. I can try to fight one at a time, but I doubt I'd last 1 barrage, let alone 2 battles. So that only leaves me with trying to escape. Okay, they've hemmed us in. I can choose to turn around and fight, which would be tantamount to suicide. I can keep going, or I can improve our chances of escape by dumping a bunch of supplies. Although it's a lot of food, given the situation, I'm going to go with that one. Here goes. Yes, we've escaped. That is good. That is also good because we have now completed enough events to unlock the gate and allow us to leave the map. This is the world map view. So far in the game we've been escaping the cult, so we need to get to a safe zone, which is a map over here. Travelling between exploration maps has a supply cost. Let's go to the one here. We're in the next map, and the first thing I need to do quite desperately is find a port. Now, not every map contains a port, and if that's the case on this map, I am completely screwed. I daren't do any events before then, in case they're combat ones. Oh, there's the gate. Need 5 events to open that one. There's an event, and there's a port. Hooray! Now, before I spend my money on repairing, I usually like to check what stuff the shop has in stock. Well, we have to repair, so let's top up the ship a bit. I like the suppression gun because that knocks over enemy crew, so it's great for griefing them. But I think we'll get some hull spikes because that will do more damage if we ram someone. Now let's go to the tavern so we can hire some crew. Replace some of those fallen comrades. Yeah, the gunner. Right. Now let's get back to sea and do some of those events. This one is an apparently empty lifeboat. Let's check it out. Okay, looks like the previous occupants met a grisly end, which has unnerved the crew slightly and made us lose some morale. If morale reaches minus 100, then there'll be a mutiny, which is obviously not a good thing. Right, the Halifron are attacking again. However, we've spotted them before they've ambushed us this time, and because we have a mortar, we can try and shoot them, which is what we'll do. Okay, didn't kill them, but it did allow us to escape. This one is a bit of extra food. Okay, this gate needs 5 events as well. Not all gates will require the same amount of events to get through. Checking the map, we want to go out the top route because that's the fastest way to our destination. Of course, if we wanted to go off on a longer route to go through events and try to get more money to spend on upgrades or whatever, we could, but we'll go the top route. This one is a pirates attacking another ship. and we can either choose to stay out of it and accept a bribe while they take out the other ship, or we can be a hero. I'll be a hero. I want to use my new hull spikes, so when I ram, that will do more damage. Although the enemy has some of their own, so if I ram them, I'll receive a bit of damage as well. I'm just going to move my crew around a bit because my captain is also good at navigation. So if I get him manning the wheel, that'll improve the rate at which our manoeuvre bar increases. In fact, I have a cunning plan. These cannons are better at long range, whereas these ones, which are called double shot, are better at short range. So once I've repaired the sails, I'm going to turn the ship around so I can bring my short range cannons to bear. Looks like the enemy has flaming weapons. That means we'll have to stay on top of any fires that get started before they rage out of control. I really want to ram and then board them, but I can't do that with the mast section destroyed, so I'll need to repair that first. If I'm going to board, I could do with whittling their crew down, so I should use the grape shot swivel gun for that. Okay, let's try and weaken some or kill some. Not quite. If I damaged their sick bay or had 2 anti-personnel weapons, then that would have done a lot more damage. I'll take him out though. I'm gonna ram them now. Pass the brace test. Ah, okay. Didn't get to board them because the ram caused so much damage it destroyed the ship. Oh well. I've found myself in another position where I'm quite weak. Ah, okay. This is something I didn't fully explain earlier. One of the reasons we're fleeing is that the cult have a big sea monster, a kraken, that's hunting us and it's found us. So in this part of the game, we do not have the tools to properly fight it. So all we can do is run away. Ah, it's got us. Because we don't have the weapons to fight it yet, we've just got to hurt it enough to allow us to escape. Grab the ship with its tentacles, so cutting those off should do the trick. Otherwise it's just going to keep hitting us until we're dead. Alright, now it's let go, we can flee. So when this manoeuvre bar is full, we can press the flee button. Although we didn't do that fast enough because it's got us again. Okay, we should now be able to flee to safety. Yes, there we go. Because we've wounded it, that's given us some respite so we can escape. And that event was one where we've lost some supplies because the rats in the ship have been eating all our stores. So just before we move to the next map, I just wanted to show the rest of the world. So what we've gone through here is a few exploration maps, which are what these dots are. And this area with the outline is what we call a region. So if I pull out here, you can see what the other regions look like. And these have different biomes and unique locations. If you want to learn more, you should look at our exploration gameplay trailer. What regions will launch with our early access release and which ones get unlocked during early access is something we'll talk about in due course. Right now we just want to get to this map here, which is Landfall. So let's click on here and sail on through. Okay, I probably should have gone to the last port again to heal up, but now we're here, let's try and find a new one. So this map has rain and I think I've seen some lightning. It could make combat a little more difficult. But first things first, let's find a port. And there it is. Now, we don't have much money at all, so I'm going to sell some of our supplies so we can repair. In fact, I'm also going to sell our lifeboat, which means if the ship is destroyed, we'll be stranded in the water, but what's the worst that can happen, eh? I'm also tempted to sell some of our weapons just to squeeze a bit more money for repairs, even though that acid bomb mortar is pretty tempting. Yeah, we might as well fully repair. Oh, I don't know why I'm checking the tavern. It's not like I've got any money. Okay, found a small chest. And we got some money for that. Ah, one thing I wanted to talk about that I probably should have done earlier is this view here. So, in this view we can move our crew around and then save their positions. We can change the facing of the ship, so a battle would start with the other side facing the enemy. I'm not going to do that now because we've sold some of our short range weapons, so as we're going to be using our long range weapons, I'll set our preferred distance to move to. So in combat, the ship should automatically start trying to move to that distance from the enemy. Looks like an empty ship. Could be a trap, or it could have some good stuff to raid. Looks like we got some money, but something happened that annoyed the crew, so we've lost some morale as well. Okay, this time looks like a ship is in trouble, so I think we'll go help it out. Ah, cool. Although the ship we were trying to help sank, we picked up a survivor who's joined our crew. I think in this instance we'll trade some cash for supplies, because if we change maps and we don't have enough food to do so, we'll get a morale penalty, and we don't want that to get too low. A ship looks like it's full of cargo, so let's engage in a bit of piracy ourselves. That is another big ship. But given that we've got 3 gunners, I'm hopeful we'll do better in this fight. It's a shame I didn't have enough money to buy some more weapons, but I needed to repair the damage I sustained from my terrible performance in previous battles. I've got a good feeling about this one though, despite the rain and lightning. In fact, it looks like they've got flaming weapons, which works in our favour in this map because the rain will extinguish them without our intervention, so we don't have to take crew away from their other duties. Ah, I see a tidal wave coming. Even if you pass your brace test, the force of a tidal wave still knocks your crew to the deck. But if you fail it, then the crew are swept overboard, which we really want to avoid. We're doing really well in this battle, and part of that is we're forcing them to react to us. So doing things like knocking sections into the red forces the enemy to repair them, and while they're doing that, the crew member isn't firing weapons at us. A few more hits and we'll have won. Considering my earlier terrible performance in battle, I'm redeeming myself here by absolutely annihilating them. Oh. Although naturally I've just messed up the brace tests and now need to winch in someone before they drown. Minor wrinkle though in this glorious victory. Excellent. And this is our destination. Now we just need to go looking for landfall. Aha, here we go. Right, this is a good place to finish the capture. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this small snippet of the game. There's tons more to show you, and you can see some of that stuff by checking out our trailers. And if you like what you saw, please go to Steam and add us to your wishlist. Bye!